Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Capricorn in December 2020. What is going on, Capricorn? How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. All right, Capricorn, first, right off the bat, happy birthday to you early Capricorns that are going to be celebrating at the end of the month. Also, happy birthday to those who will be celebrating in January. No matter when your special day is, I hope it's a fantastic day. I hope you're able to enjoy yourself. If you are going to be socializing and getting together, thank you, with people, please take all of the precautions necessary if you are going to get together and celebrate not only your birthday, but it is the holiday season here in December. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice, whatever you're doing, whenever you're getting together with people. Again, Capricorn, please take all precautions necessary to keep you and them safe. In general, I'm hoping you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time, because even though it's the end of 2020, the roller coaster ride that 2020 has put us on is probably not going to end on the 31st. So let's all, again, stay vigilant, make good choices, and take care of people that we know and love, and even people that we don't know and love, because I've mentioned it in just about all of the readings, I believe, that my best friend was diagnosed with coronavirus, and my friend took all precautions, was super duper careful, and they just happened to have to interact with someone who was less careful for, I think, not even the better part of a day or two, and there you go. So the virus is non-discriminatory, does not care what you've done or what you will do, does not care anything, so even if you're super safe, you can't be sure what other people are doing, you know what I mean? So again, I don't want to hammer on it too much, but Capricorn, if you have the chance to make good choices and keep yourself and other people safe, you should do so, okay? Any other announcements? No, ma'am, no, sir. So let's go ahead and get into it. Capricorn, anything you want from me, it is in the description box already. If you want the timestamp, it is down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me is down there as well. And the link to my Instagram is provided if you want to follow me on Instagram. I really suck at it. I need to do better with it. I need to figure out, what's the best way to use that platform. But anyway, if you're interested in any of that stuff, it's down in the description box, okay? Let us get into it. Let us find out what your outcome is. So please, please, please show me the outcome for Capricorn in December 2020. December 2020 outcome for Capricorn. Please show me. I could have caught that, but I was like, I'm going to see if it's going to fall. And it did. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. I think I can get this without knocking things over. Yes. Because sometimes I don't want to risk knocking things over in the middle of recording, because, that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? All right, we got it. Fell to the floor like that, so we're going to place it there like that. I've noted it for other signs. I'm going to note it for you, Capricorn. A lot of your cards are face up. Normally, in this particular type of spread, that indicates to me that information is coming to the forefront, information is being revealed, or you're being honest about things, or people around you are being honest. But let's see if that applies to your reading overall. I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and flip what came face down for you. Okay. And okay. Sure. Make this a little straighter, because that's how I want it to be. All right, I think that looks good. Yeah, we did a pretty good job with that. All right, let's get into it. Please show me where Capricorn is in December 2020. Capricorn in December 2020, please show me. That's 2. I need 1, please. Just 1. Okay, we got there. I'm going to tell you we were between here and here, but I believe we're going to start here. Yes, thank you. All right, coming in, Capricorn, you come into the reading with the 5 of Pentacles. So Uh, Pretty disappointed about things. Feeling distraught, dismayed, possibly in a very shocking way, or at least a unexpected way, if not shocking, just unexpected. Um, and some of you, this could be an upset in your home life or with your money, since this is Pentacles, or something that you hold dear is possibly being taken from you, or it's been destroyed, or you've lost it. Like, I feel some of you might be looking for something like a valuable piece of jewelry or like an heirloom or something that was passed down to you, and you're just like, oh, where's grandma's necklace, where's grandma's this, where's this, and I feel you've misplaced it, or you feel possibly, or you know possibly someone stole it from you. But there's something about sentimental attachment or things of value, and they're not there, they're destroyed, they've gone missing, they've been stolen, misplaced, something like that. Excuse me. This Five of Pentacles can also talk about, for some of you, an upheaval in your home life or a change in your job, in your finances that, again, is unexpected. Like, you go to look for something, you go to look for the money in your account, you go to your job expecting the doors to be open, you pull on the door and it's locked. There's like an expectation of something being available or in your possession, and it's actually not in your possession, it's actually not available. This is not cool for you, because I think given her hand, how she's holding it over her eyes like that, over her face like that, it's like you don't want to see that. You don't want to recognize that. You don't want to believe that. You don't want it to be true. In some cases, not for everybody, you had a hand in this and you know you do, and you feel guilty or you feel caught. Okay? That's not for everybody. And again, this is a general, I'm saying you, Capricorn. I could be talking about someone else that you're dealing with. But I feel as though there's possibly like missing money from an account, or not enough something in the cupboard, in the pantry. You know that you did it. You know that you used it. You know that you spent this. If, again, like, even if it's not like you did it on purpose, you did it by accident. So some of you may be in the middle of packing up your home, or somewhere, somehow you misplaced something. So again, you might be looking for a valuable piece of jewelry or a sentimental piece of jewelry, and last time you saw it, it was on your wrist, but you look down on your wrist right now and it's not there, and you're like, where did I misplace this thing? So it's something where some of you know it's quote unquote your fault. Okay. That's not for everybody. Okay. Because in some cases I do feel you may have experienced some type of theft, is what that feels like, a little bit. Or if not theft, like somebody purposely destroyed something to upset you, or to, cause an upheaval in your life. Or, again, it's like the actions of others are unexpectedly affecting you. Like, again, you go to work, try to open the doors, try to get in the office, try to get in the building, and your keys don't work. Nobody's inside. Like, the place is closed down. Something like that, okay? What else happens for Capricorn? Please show me. Wow. Okay, so definitely other people are involved in this, but I'm not exactly sure how or where. But it's somebody here, either you or someone else, has been really kept in the dark, and there has been a change of fortune, a change of the guard is how they're kind of putting that. Like, oh man, like in some of your cases, the job maybe isn't closed, but maybe you got fired, and you had no idea that was happening, and you have no reason to believe or you don't understand why, right? Something like that. In like a few of your cases, you literally show up to work and nobody's there, or you can't get access to the building because somehow when you ended your shift yesterday, you were perfectly employed. You go there the next morning and now you're fired. It's like, how did I get fired over one night's sleep? What did I do? There's that type of confusion. the nooks and the crannies of this feels like things have changed behind your back, or things have been moving behind your back. In I'm using that phrase, behind your back, behind your back. Some of you, you know exactly what's going on because you have a hand in this, or again, you've like misplaced things, or you spent the money, whatever it is, you know what's going on. For those where you don't know what's going on, I feel as though you've had, death. Wow. That might sound a little ominous the way that I said that. Death. This is major kind of for Scorpio. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. Something has changed. Something has spoiled. As we can see, this is mimicking a jar of mayonnaise or some other type of condiment, but on the jar it says salmonella, right? Real salmonella. Everything expires, okay? So something has spoiled over time. A situation, a circumstance, possibly, in the case of like the money, possibly there was a debt that was owed, and wages or financial accounts were garnished by the government or something like that. God, I can't even say the word. Why can't I say this word? Repo. Someone comes back and takes things, takes your car, something. Repossession. Thank you. That's the word, repossession. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Anyway, so there's something about things have changed, or something came due, something expired, and the outcome of that, or at least what's affected by that, or at least the connection point to that, is that Five of Pentacles. Feeling like, oh, I don't know what, it's like, what? And it's just like, well, they sent you notices. You hadn't been paying your car note. It belongs to the bank, or it belongs to the dealer, or whoever. They own the car. You're not the title owner of that car, So it's something like that. And that's change, that's transformation in a very material way. Again, talking about money and cars and jewelry, or even your job. Your job is a part of your material world, your material life, right? I feel though, thank you, that this change, transformation that you or someone else is experiencing, Capricorn, it feels undue, or it's like going back to the imagery on this Five of Pentacles. It feels like it's a shock, but I don't think it should be, because this death card has come because of neglect. Why do I say that? Because, again, what is depicted here? What is illustrated here? A jar of mayonnaise, essentially, or something like it. Yeah? And mayonnaise or anything else, food-wise, because you could look at the other items on the table, they don't spoil if you treat it right. You wrap that tomato up in some saran wrap, you put that cheese back in the fridge, you put the lid down and get those flies off of that mayonnaise, and you'd save it. But if somebody left out all of these ingredients, neglected them, did not properly care for the food, it would spoil faster. Okay? So, if you owe money, if you're in debt, if you, going back to the job thing, maybe the job closing has nothing to do with you. Maybe you getting fired has nothing to do with you. Maybe it's a scapegoat tactic because maybe your boss or whoever else they're the one who's neglecting. It's like something was left unattended. That's how you lose things sometimes. You leave things unattended, or again, because some of you feel like you were actually, that someone stole from you. And not to say that it's okay, and not to say, well, you neglected it and you didn't keep your eyes on it the whole time. It makes sense. It's just the way things happen. When eyes are turned away, when things are left out on a countertop, food items and stuff, things go sour. You turn your head for 2 seconds, or you leave your bag unattended somewhere, just, quickly. Oh, I'm just going to be in and out, no big deal. Nothing's going to happen. Well, under that presumption, something did happen. Something got stolen out of your purse, or stolen out of your wallet, or whatever. And it's not a blame game. It's just the reality of it. Because in that particular case of where someone has stolen something from you, or people are using you as a scapegoat, that's their tactic. They were looking for a chance to make you or someone else a mark, or to make you or someone else the fall guy in the situation, whoever it is, you know? So don't take it personally. It's not me saying, well, of course, Capricorn, it's not that. It's more of a, in the moment where something was ripe, the food or your unattended bag, that's a ripe situation. And in order to sour the situation in terms of food, you leave it out. In terms of souring the situation, in terms of thievery, you reach in, you take the purse, or you reach in, you take the jewelry, you reach in and you take the money out of the wallet, whatever. This could be very personal to you. Yes, they're reminding me. This, in terms of being stolen from, especially like jewelry or money or something like that, this is someone around you. This is someone in your life, friend, family, lover, I don't care who they are. You know them. Most of you know this person. They got sticky fingers. That's something that is known about them, or you suspect they could have sticky fingers, but you've never caught them in the act. Okay? Again, even like unaccounted for money or unaccounted for spending, that could be a problem. That could translate to personal life or professional life. Unaccounted for spending. That, ooh, see, I recently heard a story like this. I think it was like a friend of a friend was, I think so. I think a friend was telling me a story of a friend of theirs where they went to work, right? And they clocked in and did what they had to do. And then by the end of the shift, they got fired because the manager said, hey, a bunch of money went missing from the safe. Do you know anything about that? And this person's just like, no, I don't know anything about that. What are you talking about? I just did my shift, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you're fired. And that was it. And then, you know, in certain employments, that's allowable, or it's, you know, at will employment and all that stuff. So there's nothing to be proven. But years later or sometime later, whenever it was proven that the manager was stealing and simply fired the person to cover their own tracks. That could be something that some of you are experiencing, something like that, where your boss, your manager, whoever you work with or whoever you're in business partnership with, they're the ones who are doing the dastardly deed, letting things go sour, or souring the business, souring their relationship with you by pinning things on you, blaming you, firing you. Do you get it? Okay, so don't take it as me sitting here going, oh, you deserve it. I don't ever, especially for the sign that I'm reading, I don't ever say you deserve it. 9 times out of 10, I don't think I've ever said that. If you're dealing with people that I think are shady and bad things happen to them, I'm like, well, sounds like they deserve it. I might say that, just to be fair. But anyway, so sudden, and I wouldn't even say sudden loss, but shocking loss again, because the 5s are contentious energy. They're challenging. They can indicate some type of chaos or kerfuffle in some type of way. So I think it's like, like what? What? It's like unexpected. Okay. So that's where that 5 of Pentacles is like really getting to me. And like I said, for some of you, you kind of know what's going on. So maybe that's another part of this. Again, going back to this idea that maybe some of you know the person who's stolen from you, relative, friend, lover, I don't care who they are. Like they make a habit of this. Some of you know that, but you're still shocked. Okay. What else happens for Capricorn? Oof, well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. Hey now, hey, and I'm about to lean on you a little bit, Capricorn. 6 of Cups. So that explains a lot to me, especially if you're familiar with what this card represents, what people often associate it with, and I'm going to talk about it right now. Soulmate energy. Okay. In other readers' estimation, in your own estimation, this can be a very significant person to you in terms of soulmate energy. Here comes Jay's big old caveat. It's standard, par for the course. Just because someone is your soulmate. Number 1, it does not have to be romantic. And number 2, it does not mean that someone is going to be treating you good all the time or you them. Soulmate energy, in my estimation, in terms of tarot, in terms of life on earth, period, does not always come with sunshine, rainbows, and sprinkles on top. Sometimes, you know, it's not as sweet as this card is depicting. Pink lemonade. That shit could be like sweetened with arsenic. We don't know, you know? So, So I say that to mean, or I mean, what am I? Yeah, I say that to convey to you, Capricorn, that you might be seeing this person in your life as a soulmate. I don't begrudge you that. What I would challenge you with, what I would encourage you to possibly consider, is that maybe they're a soulmate who's not of that Hallmark, cutesy ootsy, cookie cutter, this is so sweet and tasty variety. Some of those, some soulmates like that do exist in your life and other people's lives. That is true. But there are plenty more than I think many people would like to acknowledge. There are plenty more soulmates that are here to challenge us, that are here to aggravate us, and that are here to help us grow through aggravation, through challenge. Period. Paragraph, as my mother says. Okay? So, you might have a soulmate. Six of Cups also talks about childhood or nostalgia, right? So you might have someone who is a soulmate that you've known since childhood. Friend, family, love, well, hopefully not lovers when you were kids, but maybe you had like little crushes and then eventually you dated or you eventually possibly married this person. Who knows? But the long history that you have with this person is the Achilles heel of the situation for some of you. The fact that you've known them for such a long time, the fact that you're related to them, the fact that you're committed to them for a long time, that is what is troublesome here. And I get it. I'm not in this situation. I'm not a Capricorn and I don't have a Capricorn in my life, but I understand this because I've said this on the channel. I say it very frequently. One of my soulmates in my life is my sister. I've known her my whole life and her whole life since she's younger than me, right? We have not always gotten along. And as much as I enjoy our relationship right now, and I'm happy that we are together and we are connected and we get along, I do not take for granted, just because she's my sister and just because she is my soulmate, that we will always be that. There is a chance that she or I could do anything to each other or one another, or something could change on our end, and it does not always, I know, I accept it on its face that we might not always be in unison. You do not have to believe what I believe. You do not have to agree with me. But that, I feel, is the Achilles heel here, is that because of the perception of they're your relative, they're your partner in terms of business or romantic senses or whatever. There's somebody that you've known since you were a child. You're not related. Maybe you've just been friends since like elementary school, whatever. And it's also possibly because the traditional depiction of the Six of Cups shows an older child giving a gift or giving some flowers to a younger child. So there could be this dynamic between you of provision, of providing for one another, or one person providing for the other. You know what I mean? So if this was, like my situation, an older sibling and a younger sibling, and the older sibling might feel obligated and indebted and this duty of taking care of the younger sibling, that's fair. That makes sense. However, that can be, again, an Achilles heel, a strength and a weakness, a virtue and God, I can't even think of the word. Sort of a detriment. The thing that's going to keep you and or them repeating cycles, stuck in some type of drama or upheaval. And it's sitting next to the death card. Now, I already talked about that in one aspect. The other aspect of death is to release, is to initiate the act of rebirth, or to enact the the action. Thank you. I was like, why can't I think of this word? The action, or to begin the action. Thank you, of transition. If not an ending, something transitions. It changes from one form to another, right? I mean, if you think about it, that's essentially what's happening with this food on this table. Now, this food, think about it that way, because it's literally on the card. Salmonella, that's not good for humans. We consume that, we get very sick, we possibly die, right? Salmonella or other rotten types of foods or decaying food works for the flies. So in its natural state, a fresh tomato, fresh, right out of the jar mayo, that's good for humans. We can consume that, and flies can too. But if those things go past a certain expiration date, or they begin to mold and decay, we can't have it anymore. But flies, other animals, plants, whatever, they can have it. Does that make sense? So just because you can no longer enjoy it the way that you're used to does not mean it ceases to function or have purpose. Meaning, your relationship with this person, whoever it is, boss, girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't care, best friend, does not matter who it is. You change something in your relationship, something about your dynamic. You transform it. Does not mean you no longer exist to each other. Does not mean you no longer exist to function in other relationships outside of how you two connect. It just means possibly the connection between you two isn't what it used to be. Period. For an example, I just told you, my sister is my soulmate. I have a brother. I have 2 siblings. If I lose my relationship with my sister, I no longer stop being a sister, technically, because I have a brother. I no longer stop being a sibling because I have a brother. So even though I'm losing, or one aspect or one of my relationships would have been transformed, possibly lost, possibly released, assuming like I was in a situation like this, which I'm not. But the technical truth is I'm not really no longer related to other people. I'm not losing my status as a sister totally. Okay? That's a lot of thunder. Wow. So I hope you get what I mean. And that's, again, the Achilles heel. Now, I'm not trying to say dump this person. I'm not trying to say write them off, or for them to write you off if it is reversed. Whatever. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is the perceived notion, possibly even a fact, that someone is your soulmate, that someone is a kindred spirit to you, that somebody and you have a long history together, does not override or supersede the current moment. Just because you've known this person since elementary school doesn't mean that they're either that they're necessarily somebody that you need to be connected with, especially if we go back to what we were talking about earlier. They steal from you? What? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be friends with people that steal from me. Okay? If they put you on the hook for things, they use you as a scapegoat. That's not cool. I don't want to work for people like that. And I certainly don't want them to get me into any type of trouble. I would like them to receive their comeuppance because that's the right thing to do. Right? So there's something here where some of you, and again, I'm not a parent. I have other family relationships. But there's something about loyalty to family or loyalty to the types of relationships that we have, which I feel is a little, again, it's like an Achilles heel. That's what it feels like. Okay. What else? Well, that makes sense. As I look back down here, all of that makes sense in 2 seconds flat. Boom, boom, boom. Makes total sense. So what else is happening here, Capricorn, is that you're watching this reading, or whoever resonates with this, you're watching this reading. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but that you might want to take this reading as a clue, as a wake-up call, in some sense, in a very small sense at least. Okay? What else happens? What else is going on here? Number one, who you're dealing with is here. Knight of Cups. Knight, youngish energy. Young-like energy. Okay? Teenage energy is technically how this is. A teenager, young adult. They don't have to be a teenager or a young adult, and neither do you or anybody like that, but it's the energy marker of a person. Old enough to know better, but not making those good choices. Correct? That's usually what teenagers are all about. Or at least young adults. You're old enough to know better, but are you making the right choices all the time? No. I'm not as young as I used to be, but I clearly would admit to you, I didn't always make the best choices, and I knew exactly what I was doing was wrong. Yeah, I knew it, and I did it anyway. That's this person. Water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, they do not have to be a water sign. They do not have to be a male, since we see a young man figured here or illustrated here. None of that matters. What matters is somebody who is charming, who has a way with words or a way with their actions. If this is a romantic relationship, they are a Don Juan or a Don Juana, okay? You might have what I like to call a hit back relationship with this person in some of your cases, where they break your heart, they leave, they come back, they mend your heart, they break your heart again, they go back, go away, they mend it, that hit back, that revolving door shit that benefits them. They know they should be more mature. They know, possibly, you deserve better, but they come back, turn on the charm, pour you a little bubbly, and all of a sudden you're smitten again. And that's exactly what they want. This person, they're not terrible, but they ain't great either. Okay? I want to be fair. This person isn't the worst person in the world. There have been, to you they might be, but as the objective person on the outside, the heart of this person, how they're coming across from their internal space is, they know they could be better. They don't know how to be better. They don't feel that they need to be better in some cases. And that sounds pretty terrible, so I might have to walk that back a little bit. But it feels like some of them, they don't know how to be better. This is how they've always been. And, God, I just had a flash of a certain person in my life. From when I was little, I used to like somebody that was in our neighborhood. And it's reminding me of this character, that person in my memory. I'm like, oh, God. Like I said, a Don Juan, a Don Juana. And what I'm chuckling because the person in my memory, I had to be like less than 10 years old, like younger than 10, right? So I remember there was this guy and he would just have different women in and out of his house all the time. And as a young kid, I didn't know anything. I was just, usually playing with my friends, but I was like, that's a different lady getting out of that car. And then, next weekend or something like that, that's another lady. And then, overhearing certain adult conversations, I'm like, huh? What does that mean, a bastard? Things like that. And but that's what this feels like. It feels like somebody who is an adult, because when I was at that age, I assumed that person, this person that I was thinking of, had to be in their 40s or 50s, but they behave like this, like a young person, like a young adult, like a teenager. And that's, not in all cultures, but in several cultures, that's when you're supposed to be dating a lot of different people, getting it out of your system, sowing your oats, so to speak. And then eventually, when you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, that's when you settle down, right? Not the case. And that could be true for some of you. You could be dealing with someone who is of age, well into their adulthood, but they behave like a teenager. Okay? Or, for some of you, this is your kid or someone younger than you that you're related to, and they behave within their quote-unquote appropriate age group. How they get away with it is they're charming. They come with apologies when it's necessary, when it benefits them. And for some of them, in the moment, they might be sorry. But in a later moment, they now forgot that they ever apologized, and they're impulsive again, or they act out, or they steal, or they abandon you, walk out the door, leave you on red for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then come back as if they'd never disappeared, like mini ghostings. Like this person, if you're in a dating situation with this person, they might mini ghost you over and over and over again. And they make excuses for it. Okay? Now, I do still want to stand by this. It's not an excuse. I'm not excusing their actions. Don't take it that way. But in many of their hearts, in many of their internal spaces, they don't mean to do this. It's possibly just how they're wired, or it's how they are conditioned in some cases. Meaning, they are emulating what they know. If they, in a dating scenario, this is not an excuse, but this is how some people get to these places. To be 20-something years old, 30-something years old, 40-something years old, we presume you're mature. You've lived a little, you've experienced some things, you've grown up. right? But like I said, some of you, this is a hit back situation. This is a revolving door relationship. So this person, they are emulating in some of their cases what they grew up experiencing, what they grew up observing. This is not please, I don't know why I have to keep saying this. This is not me making excuses. This is not me saying, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. It's just, this is the reality, that this is how humans develop. This is how human psychology works. You emulate, most of us, what we observe, whether we are conscious of it or not. So in this person's background, perhaps, they witnessed men in their life being philanderers, being Don Juans. They witnessed women in their life being loose, having lots of gentlemen callers, whatever. They witnessed their parents getting divorced, then marrying again, then both of them getting divorced. Like, they could come from that type of quote unquote dysfunctional life. And therefore, when it comes to having a healthy, balanced, stable relationship in their own life, they don't know how to do it. Not an excuse, just the reality that possibly exists for some of you. If it was business, same deal. Maybe, I feel, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. To run a business, you don't have to be certified. You don't have to have gone to college or any type of professional training or any type of schooling that says, I know how to run a business. I'm pretty sure, at least in this country, you don't necessarily have to have the credentials, the experience. If you've got the money, if you've got the right people behind you backing you, you could do it. And even if you don't own the business, let's say this person is just a manager, like I said before, and they're pinning the stolen money shit on you or whatever it is. They didn't have to necessarily come from management. They didn't necessarily have to go to school to learn how to lead a business. Someone just hired them. They could have lied on their, whatever. So, Knight of Cups, not really a fan of them in this moment. I feel they, as they're above the death card, they also have issue with change, transformation, accepting, like when things need to be done in their life, such as philandering behavior, such as ghosting. Who ghosts when you're fucking 40-something years old? Plenty of people, I gotta tell you. I'm sure. Okay? But it's so immature, and they've never let go of some of those immature behaviors that they just do it over and over and over again. So this person needs to grow up, okay? On either side, Capricorn, whether, I don't know who is who here, you plug yourself in, but the other side of this, 2 times over. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Okay? Number one, what do I do practically speaking? If this is an entanglement in your business life, in your romantic life, in your family life, there are certain entanglements, certain things that you share with this person, or again, like enmeshments or entanglements that are hard to get out of. So if you live with this person, you both, pay the rent. Well, I can't kick them out because they pay the rent. Or if you're in business together, well, I can't buy them out because I don't have the capital to do that. Okay. In terms of family, I can't disown them. They're my kid. I can't walk away from them because they're my sister, my brother, whoever. Okay. So there's something practical about how you two work together, or intersect, I should say, not necessarily work together, but intersect, that has you in a tizzy or caught between a rock and a hard place. With the puppy and the child. You might have children with this person. So they will never, ever, ever truly be out of your life because you have created little babies together. This could be an ex and you don't want to be with them anymore and they don't want to be with you anymore. But because of that, connection you have of being parents together, they will remain in your life. Or at least that's what you struggle with, because that's what's going on with this 2 of Pentacles card. She's struggling. She's got the kid at her skirt, she's got the puppy at her skirt, and she's trying to, for some reason, juggle these 2 pentacles. That's multitasking to the detriment of self. So it's like, how do I maintain things safely, securely, and for myself, but then also pay attention to my kid, also take care of my dog, also, keep, food on the table, keep my head above water, blah, 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 blah. So in some form or fashion, you want to be able to release this person, or at least change and transform the ways in which you interact. If you don't, separate completely, you want to change the dynamic between you, how we relate to each other. And that is some type of balancing act, or that is some type of juggling act that you're having a hard time keeping under control. You're having a hard time, possibly in some cases, starting that. Okay? In not other cases, but the other element here is also the trust that maybe has been, back here with the Five of Pentacles, broken. The broken pentacle on the ground there. So some of you, you want this person in your life, or they're not going anywhere because of how you're related, but the trust has been broken or fractured or somehow damaged. So how do I proceed forward with this person if I can't trust them? That is a pickle. I wish you luck in trying to figure that out. The other aspect, knocking things all over the place, sorry, is the Two of Swords. So, Capricorn, you have my sympathies, you have my empathy here, because I really, and it's a turkey, I really feel someone here, if this is happening to you, if you're affecting someone like this, grow up a little bit, but most likely it's not you who's whoever's watching this. It's probably not you who needs to grow up and transform and all that stuff. And it's not just a one-way street, because the other side of this, the Two of Pentacles person, the Six of Cups, the Five of Pentacles person, and the person who also shares the death energy, you too need to change some things. But resistance, reluctance, possible fear, possible what is that word? Fear. I guess like not wanting to be disappointed or be a disappointment, or to be viewed that way. So remember what I was saying about the Six of Cups, and how in the traditional decks, particularly the Rider-Waite deck, you'll see one older child giving a gift or giving something to the younger child. And that is translating over here as don't want to be seen as a disappointment, or don't want to disappoint the other person or people. Because also with this turkey and, Thanksgiving just passed, there is this sense of, even though I'm talking mostly about a dynamic between two people, I feel there are some folks in the peripheral that are going to be affected too, especially if we're talking about family or some type of commitment. Okay, so there's something about, I don't want to be seen as abandoning this person. I don't want to be seen as being cold-hearted. I don't want to be seen as being vengeful. But at the same time, I don't want to be seen as a victim either. I don't want to be seen. Remember I told you earlier about leaving the purse or the bag unattended, and that is like ripe for a thief. They're looking for moments like that so they can quickly swoop in and steal what doesn't belong to them. You don't want to be seen as that either. Like this, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen. The woman is blindfolded. She's got her hands crossed, or her the utensils crossed across her chest, right? I don't want to be seen, and I don't want to feel that way. Lots of avoidant energy here, or this feeling of, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How do I do this? How do I get through this? Uncertainty, confusion, insecurity, all those things are here. This is not an easy fix. Most of the time in a general reading, that doesn't come through anyway. But for me, Capricorn, what it feels like is the biggest part of this, I think, is reframing how you and or the other person views the situation, views the connection, views the quality of the connection. Like I said, the Death card is about change and transformation. Doesn't mean it's ruined all across the board and we chuck it out, we release the person or the situation completely. That might work for some of you. For others, it's not about that. It's about changing certain aspects of it. Making new expectations, or setting up new levels of accountability, right? especially going back to those where this is recycled energy. This is repeated energy. You go through this with this specific person or people like this. If it's not, that's interesting. And that actually plays to the soulmate energy. For some of you, this is not even about the same person. It's the same type of person. They carry the same energy marker and the same behaviors that you've seen across your friends, your boyfriends, your girlfriends throughout your entire life. And you're sitting there scratching your head. What am I to do with this? Simple. Reframe how you think. Reframe how you react and interact and respond, and increase or at least change the accountability and the expectation and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of work. I mean, I'm just saying these words and it sounds so easy. It's not. I do it myself. It's hard. It is hard, but it's possible. And I got to tell you, oh God, without getting too into it, I used to be very permissible, more than I am now. And I'm still pretty permissible, but I used to be a fucking sap. Gotta tell you. Gotta tell you. Just like let things happen. Didn't call people to the carpet. Didn't tell people how I truly felt. And was just really like, okay, sure, this happened. And like I said, I think I said this earlier. I also wasn't the greatest person myself in terms of I was doing things I shouldn't have done and saying things I shouldn't have done and behaving in ways that I haven't. Now, I'm no saint, I don't walk on water, but I've changed how I reframe it. I don't want people to treat me like trash, therefore I don't accept it. Period. Period. You treat me like trash, I'm going to tell you. You just treated me like trash. I don't like that, don't do that. You do it again, we're done. That's it. That's my new way. It works for me, might not work for you. Might need to retool that or make your own specific little nuanced changes, but that changes. It changes so much. So now the people that were questionable in my life, they do not come around. And they used to come around repeatedly, making the rounds, coming back. Hey Jay, what's up? Hey. And I would engage. And then I would be disappointed. And then I would, and then they go away and it would settle down and then they come back. Hey Jay, what's up? And I'd engage again and I get my hopes up and then I'd be disappointed again. I don't do that anymore. That's death. That's change and transformation. You can do it. You don't have to do it the way I do it. You don't have to do it to the same degree. But there's something in there where that changes how I have an outlook on life and how I value myself and all these things. And I'm telling you, it works. It's hard, but it works. Yeah. Your outcome. King of Cups in reverse, water sign energy again. You don't have to be dealing with a water sign, but you could be. But, don't hold on to that too tightly. King of Cups in reverse. So here we go. I think for some of you, this is related back to the Knight of Cups. And remember I told you in some cases the Knight experienced or was not given proper adult models to emulate. Right? Some of them have like dysfunctional backgrounds or questionable backgrounds, or they've made questionable choices since they were young and they don't know any difference. That's possibly them. Or this is possibly the person that they learned from. A King of Cups in reverse. This is very specific to them. There will be something here for you too, but this is specifically for the person who's the Knight of Cups. They did not have a proper model, and their proper model, whether living or no longer with us, was a really damaged person, or is a damaged person. And I don't say that to write them off. I don't say that, again, to make excuses. It's just the truth of the matter. This person may have in the past or is still suffering from some type of mental or emotional imbalance or disorder. Like, if I'm honest, I'm getting like schizophrenic for like maybe one of you. Okay, or some other quite prominent or well-known diagnosis, okay, that they may have officially had, or it's very unofficial, but the signs are there, the symptoms are there, and it's something like that. And again, not an excuse, just the reality of the situation. And when you're raised by or you come into close contact with people who are like that in your developing years. It's very hard if you don't, if you're not mindful of it, aware of it, and conscious of it, to not be affected. Okay, that's very specific for that person. So that's who they were raised by, or who they grew up around. And King of Cups in reverse, emotional, like a really disabled emotional person. It's not a blame, it's not an excuse. It's just who that was. It's just who that is. And if it is a family member, a parent, a grandparent, an older sibling, an aunt, uncle, something like that, somebody that you look up to. So it's like, it's that strange relationship of, I honor you, I respect you, I defer to you because you are my mom, you are my dad, whoever. And at the same time, the way you're behaving and the way you treat me, or the way I see you treat other people, is actually damaging to me. I used this word before, dysfunctional, okay? How it applies to you, viewer, or you, Capricorn, whoever is not the King of Cups. In some of your cases, like I said, you have children with the Knight of Cups, and this is the type of parent they're showing up to be. Not emotionally sound, not emotionally available, distant, ornery, or moody, okay? And that can work even if you live with this person. Like, you can be distant, emotionally distant. You could be cold and removed and aloof, and spend not every waking hour, but most waking hours with this person. There's something about the King of Cups being in reverse as being closed off, walled off, and just stewing in their own emotions. And possibly not having the ability to discern and articulate what they're experiencing. This is just an example. I'm using a lot of my own life examples with you guys tonight. For an example, someone I used to know blew my mind one day when they told me that they experience 3 emotions: happy, sad, angry. And that's really how they contextualize their day or their mood. And I'm like, well, do you ever feel elated? Do you ever feel sullen? Do you ever feel sort of melancholy? And they're like, no, I only feel happy, sad, or angry. And that blew my fucking mind. They were being honest with me. We were having an honest conversation, and I wasn't, ragging on them, and I wasn't, I'm not like trying to diagnose them, because I don't have that capability. But that shook me, because I didn't know, as an empathic person, as someone who does have a lot of emotions and is very in touch with my emotions now that I'm older. When I was younger, it was a little bit different. But I didn't know that you could be an adult and really only have, or feel you only have 3 emotions. But of course that is true. And so that's what I'm feeling here, is that someone might be stunted in their emotional growth. And that could be the person you're partnering with. That could be the person you work for. That could be the person that you trust, that you've built a life with, that you've worked towards a certain goal with. And as you're still pursuing this goal with this person, they are showing their true colors, so to speak, and you don't know what to do about that. Without help, this person will not change. Without intervention, they will not change. Without acceptance and acknowledgement of things have to change, they're not going to change. All right? That's for you and or them to make decisions upon. All right? Overall energy, if I could pick it up. Temperance. Major arcana for Sagittarius. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius. You don't have to be. That's so funny. Look at that card. Instant anger, joy, sorrow, and then justice. So those nuanced feelings of sorrow and joy, which is slightly different than happiness, you might have access to these things, temperance, or that balance, that knowledge, or that ability to recognize those blended because this is a blender, right? Those blended emotions, those more tempered, or dare I say advanced emotions, having access to that is missing here, either from you or someone else or the both of you together, and that needs to be worked on. Now, I say needs to, should, you know, I advise. This is not a rule. This is not, you know, certifiable. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. We all make our own decisions. But I feel temperance as your overall is asking for willful admittance to the problem, willful admittance to seeking a solution. Temperance is a card of alchemy. It takes something and turns it into something else, right? Because what do we have here? We've got these 4 different ingredients going into this batter, making what? Cakes, cookies, you know, a pie, who knows? But there's this intention to pour all of these things in. And mind you, we've got joy, justice. Those are pretty good. We probably think those are pretty good ingredients, but look what else goes into that batter. Anger and sorrow. You use all of the ingredients to make something tasty or nutritional or something like that. You know, like what I'm saying is don't shy away from the hard work. Don't shy away from those more negative or perceived to be negative emotions or reactions to things. You got to lean into them. You have to use them. And that's what temperance does. Uses all that is available to it, even if those 2 things or 2 or more things seem to not go together. That's the power of alchemy, right? Like, think about any recipe. Like, some recipes are like, what? That's in there? I don't even taste that. But it's in there. It's a part of the recipe, and it still tastes good. So, Capricorn, we're gonna end here because I've yammered on at you long enough. If you guys like this reading, please hit the like button. If you want to leave a comment below, let me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read your comments. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't done so already, please consider doing so. Any and all of that stuff would help me as a reader here on the channel, and it keeps all the videos in circulation. So any interaction with the channel is greatly appreciated, okay? Capricorn, I'll be back soon to do your mid-December readings, and then at the end, simultaneous beginning of your season, I will be doing your birthday reading, and then later on in January, we'll get together for a live session. Until then, guys, until I come back with your mid-December readings, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. Take care.